Vito Congine Jr. got back from Iraq as a veteran, thought he'd open a little Italian food restaurant. And they said, yeah, we'll give you the permits, go ahead and do it, we'll give you a liquor license. And they said no. So he flew an American flag upside down, which means America's in deep trouble when the socialist bureaucrats control us as slaves so much that we can't even have our own restaurant. Well, the police came and took the flag, and they said, you don't do that, boy, because in America, you lick boots. That's what this is all about now. Now, of course, the country is in crisis. The whole Bill of Rights, whole Constitution's imploding. The federal government seizing the big automakers, handing it over to the Chinese and Brazilians and Russians, giving them GM, the big pieces that were operating well, like Hummer and Saturn. Foreign banks have stolen $14.8 trillion. But see, to a lot of Americans, patriotism means if Adolf Hitler put an American flag on his back and returned from the dead, half the public would just kneel. I mean, if Joseph Stalin teleported in a time machine and was speaking Russian but wearing a suit that had the American flag on it, the public is like under mind control. They see an American flag, they just kneel. And so they don't even care if that means the country's in distress and that it's not disrespectful to the flag. But even if you do something disrespectful, that's your First Amendment, because the flag symbolizes that First Amendment and freedom. And if you don't have the spirit of it, then the flag's just a red, white, and blue. So that's why this story is so important. Here's the local newscast where you can see people trying to pull the flag down, the cops standing by, and then our guest says that the police came and took his flag. So this is how they roll. Might as well be the Soviet Union. Here it is.
Flag flying upside down in Crivets to protest a decision made by the village. Tonight, that symbol is dividing the small community. NBC 26 reporter Rachel Stockman is in place with more.
What started off as a question about whether this restaurant could get a liquor license has now turned into a full-fledged village brawl. And the question now, is this flag a sign of distress, and were someone's constitutional rights violated?
It's a flag in distress that some argue is a sign of disgrace. So upsetting for this man, he came with a knife to cut it down.
Raise the flag properly. You are violating the law. I don't care. You are trespassing. I don't care. You're pissing me off.
But it's upside down for a reason we'll get to soon. But first,
oh God, bring it down.
This a sign of the deep division in this community that started at Village Hall and Vito Congine's Supper Club.
That'll be a small dining area.
Vito says he can't open the restaurant because the village denied his liquor license, a license he says he was promised.
We put everything that we owned into this. We're about $180,000 in debt right now.
So to show his distress, he raised this flag.
I've been to war more than once. I go over to other countries to fight tyrannical governments from doing whatever they want to their citizens, and then I have to come home and deal with that here? That's not fair. It's not right that the American people should have to fear their local government bodies.
But if you ask the man standing on Vito's roof, he'd disagree, and so apparently do the village cops.
I saw the village police, the 2 full-time officers and 2 part-time officers, stealing my American flag from Vito Congine's flagpole.
The village would only issue this statement. The liquor license was denied for economic reasons, and due to potential legal action, the board will make no further comment. As for this man, Marinette County deputies came and told him to leave, but that's likely not the end of this dispute.
Vito plans to appeal the village's actions at circuit court. In your corner in Crivets.
The rest of it's up on Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com. Look, we're going to go to Vito here in just a moment. I just want to say this illustrates everything, this little report. You've always, in every town, got these empty men, and they're always saluting the flag and acting real weird, and if you criticize the government, they say you're not a patriot. It's patriotic to limit the government, to criticize it. The government isn't our country. We are. The Bill of Rights and Constitution is. And I have seen similar things. You know, we sell a T-shirt that has the American flag upside down on it. And it says, Save the USA. I mean, the U.S. is being taken over in a foreign offshore corporate takeover. And it's got Paul Revere on the front. Now, according to the DHS report, they say, watch out for returning vets, watch out for gun owners, watch out for people that don't like the Federal Reserve. See, and if they tell these goons you saw in there that go arrest Americans, it's patriotic, they'll do it. They're ready. and they get real emotional over petty, stupid stuff, but then they flip out. I mean, they'll get upset about the flag or something, not knowing it's a sign of distress, and then violate somebody's property rights and First Amendment, but then they don't care about foreign banks raping us, Bill of Rights on fire, country going to hell in a handbasket. So this story documents it all. Vito Congine Jr., who's not even in Wisconsin right now, he's in Illinois looking for work. And I guess the petty bureaucrats who promised him the license, not going to get it. Joining us, thank you for coming on, sir.
Thank you for having me today. I appreciate it.
I don't know how you didn't haul off and punch that guy. He's on your property, trying to take your property, and he's just out of his mind. I mean, is that guy all there? I mean, he's up there saluting the flag like he just saved America from Al-Qaeda, and he's on a property owner's, a veteran's own property, trying to steal his property?
I think he had a few too many this morning, that morning that had happened. The problem with it is he lets people tell him what he should think and what he should know instead of thinking and reading for himself.
Amazing.
He actually thought that I was being disrespectful to the flag, and that is not a sign of disrespect. It is a sign of distress. I have no intention, nor would I ever disrespect the United States flag or this great country. We need to stand up and take our freedoms and stop taking them for granted and realize you have to be willing to fight for it. I've been to a few wars here. I know what it's like for people not to have a freedom. Believe me, I'm going to fight tooth and nail until my dying breath to keep my freedoms. And freedom of speech is one of the most important ones we have. And if they don't think that First Amendment is so important to them, they better realize the other items that are mentioned in that First Amendment. Your freedom of choice of religion and your freedom of choice to question your government in a peaceful ensemble of people. And the freedom of the press. Let's not forget that.
And the freedom of the right to assembly, as you said. So, obviously, that newscast is just a short snapshot. How did all this begin? What's really going on? What's your neighbor saying he sees the police taking your flag? I mean, are they really that stupid that they don't understand it's your First Amendment right and it's a sign of I'm in trouble, help me, that it would be disrespectful to fly that flag right side up if the country is in crisis? You're supposed to use the flag as a communication tool.
Absolutely. Well, the problem was, it even gets worse. Not only did the police come to my place of business on the 4th of July on my private property with no warning, no warrant, but the district attorney from Marinette County instructed them to do so. Since then, he has actually gone on national TV and said, I know I was doing wrong, but I did it anyway. Now, here's somebody who's supposed to know the law, an educated man of the law, and he decided to openly violate the law himself. So, and who's going to prosecute him? Nobody.
Are they that ignorant that they don't know that flying the flag upside down means distress?
I have explained it to them. We've actually hung signs on my building to explain this to them, what the sign with Union side down, what it means. That way people can understand it that don't. I don't know what more I can do. I've been out there. I've talked to these people. I read the U.S. flag code to them. They just get told that by somebody that, oh, he must be meaning disrespect, and they go off on their little tangents and believe it instead of listening to my side of it. But we did have a small group of people that came to show their displeasure in what I'm doing, and about 10 out of those 25 people changed their mind after they were told why the flag was being flown in distress. So
but the other 15 are complete morons. They're complete. Look, the thing is, America's going to hell in a handbasket. They know it, and they don't like seeing a reminder of it. They just want America to be euthanized, put to sleep, lethal injection, quietly, and they want to wrap themselves in the flag and climb into a grave and, put up with that.
Well, they want to bury their heads in the sand. They're trying to play the ostrich effect, and you can't do that. You have to be willing to fight for your freedoms, just like they did in 1776.
This is just ridiculous. This is ridiculous that they ninny around and get so upset about this. And even when you explain to them the law, they just deny it because it feels so good to ninny around. Now, how did this begin? Why won't this little area give you the license to sell beer?
I actually went to them prior to purchasing the building and told them what I wanted. They approved of everything. They said, yes, we like this idea. It would be wonderful for the town. Then I went to them on January 20th and said, I'm ready for it. I'll open February 1. They said, no, you would be too much competition for the other people in town and your location. They tried to say it was too close to a school. The local ordinance for that is 300 feet. I'm almost 1,000 feet away from that school. So I met every requirement. Plus there are 4 other reasons that they can deny you a license. I met and surpassed every one of those reasons, and I showed that to them, and they still used it. The one that gets me the most is that I would be too much competition. How can you say that you can deny competition in the United States? How can you feel that you have that authority? That's what makes this country great, is competition.